in our Peaceful Warrior. Welcome, Doug. Thanks for being here. We're starting a Peaceful Warrior. If you want to stay in your chair, not sure what your situation is, get a second chair so you can reach out and stretch into that Peaceful Warrior position, okay? I think you've been with us enough to see what those modifications are like and feel comfortable with that, I hope, okay? So again, I've got a blanket under my knees just because after all these years of doing yoga, my knees say, okay, it's time. I need a little cushioning. And so knees are wide. We're also going to pull ourselves in a little bit into a true balasana where our legs will be together rather than in this V shape. But right now it's V shape. And again, if you want to tuck that blanket here or sit on a block, just to lift you up if the knees are a little creaky, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and stretch myself out so that my arms extend. And I'm going to let my forearms come to the ground to begin with, okay? And I'm going to place my head on that block or third eye onto the mat or my blanket. And I want to be here. This is a very restorative place if we let it be, if we let our arms just relax, if we let our head relax, that relaxes the back of our neck. We don't have our hands stretched out too far. It's relaxing our shoulders. It is stretching out our spine. It's giving us already some energy in our legs by just having them tucked in like this. And again, please modify according, because this is supposed to feel gentle, restorative, relaxing, letting go. That's hence the name, Peaceful Warrior. Or we also will call it a wide-legged child's pose. I like this too because I'm able to sense my breath. When I take it deep into my belly, I feel it pushing out my belly, the sides of my abdomen, pushing into the inner part of my legs. So let's take some of those fuller, slower, deeper breaths here, mindfully taking oxygen in to all parts of our body and releasing slower than we brought it in. Releasing slower than we brought it in is going to help ignite and actually, I should say, calm the parasympathetic nervous system. The fast breath that will ignite the sympathetic nervous system. We want to calm ourselves right now. So let's go ahead and just share a few breaths together, your own rhythm, my own rhythm. Let's say 3 or 4 big, slow, full breaths here, please. Feel your spine rising up and down as well. All right, one more, please. Good. And then we're going to change this up a bit. We're going to take it from this yin into more of a yang, more of an active pose. I'm going to just lift my head briefly. I'm going to stretch my fingers out wider. I'm going to press my fingertips into the mat. So that lifts my arms off of the ground. If your head still comes to the ground, go ahead and let it place itself there or on the block. And begin to ignite now through your fingers, deep into that mat, trying to dig into the earth below you. Feel that strength radiate into all parts of your arm, into your shoulder, okay? We don't have to lift weights. We can just do isometric like this. My weight, my might, my effort,
pressing into something that is immovable, okay? Take a few breaths here, because even though we're in a more active, more yan way of having our posture, keep with your breath. That's more important than when we're relaxing. It's when we start being activated, we forget that breath because we're saying, hey, I'm feeling something somewhere that I wasn't feeling it before. And we go to that rather than a breath. Stay with your breath. Keep clawing into the earth. Few more breaths here. Push it a little bit more. And exhale. Woo, release your arms on down. You may feel that tomorrow in the pecs, up in the upper arm. Now let's do a little bit of stretching. Let's take our head up and walk our hands out to the left. You're going to feel that stretch on the right side of your body. You can let your heavy head hang. Maybe it comes to the ground. Maybe you've taken your block with you and you'd like to rest your head there. And just, again, arms are up, palms are into the ground. And you can make this as active as you want. You can press in with my full palm, pressing into the earth energy there. Don't want to press in with my third eye anywhere though. That's resting, because I don't want to take anything strong into the neck there. But keep on pressing down here as we reach and we feel that stretch in the side body. Take a couple more breaths here. And then relax your arms down to the ground. Let your head still hang. Take a couple breaths like this. Today we're going to go in and out of yin and yang, okay, so that you can see what that difference is. And if you are like me right now, I feel a lot of energy coming through my arms just from that igniting. So now I'm going to lift my head again. I'm going to walk back to the center. Just one time, I'm going to bow down, forehead to the ground, lift up again, and then I continue my walk over now to the right, seeing how far I can reach, extending my arms out. So just my palms are grounded. Fingers are open wide. I can let my head hang, find that block, or just if maybe my neck is loose enough, my forehead comes to the ground. And that's kind of right in front of my right knee. I'm going to go ahead and let my fingers now take to the earth. I'm going to press down like I'm strong enough to press through my flooring here. I'm going to keep breathing. Keep igniting. Is your thumb pressing down as much as your pinky fingers pressing down, as much as your index and middle finger, pointer, that is your ring finger, everything pressing down. And you're breathing. 2 more breaths here. Press, 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 and exhale. Ooh, release your arms, forearms come down, elbows are bent, head is hanging. Breath is continuing. And then I'm going to lift my head up, walk myself back, stretch my hands out, come into a bow, exhale, third eye touches the ground. Then I'm going to lift my head, take your right hand towards your right knee, flip it up, and send it under your left armpit. So now we're going to come into a shoulder stretch. Okay, and I'm going to let my weight come onto that right shoulder. My right ear touches the ground. And I'm going to let my left arm extend out and walk my fingers a little bit farther in front of me here. And I'm going to lift up my hand from the ground. I'm going to come back to my fingers digging into the ground. And I want to feel that again. Okay. So pressing down, keep on breathing. So we're activating that whole left arm as we open up and relax that right shoulder. So one side of your body's activating yin or yang, and the other is yinning. It's more relaxing and stretching and opening, okay?
So that's how we're going to do that today. Off and on, yin and yang, relax, and put energize and ignition into things. And exhale, whoo, let that arm come down and release that right arm from underneath you. Stretch it out, bow down, exhale, forehead touches the ground. And now left hand comes to the left knee, flips up, sends itself over under my right armpit. My left ear takes the ground. My left side of my head is grounded, and that's very relaxed. That's not where we're pressing anything into the earth. Come onto fingertips, start digging down. And as I offer these suggestions, remember, you can take it into a more relaxing form at any time, okay? So, right, I've realized that my upper body is not as strong as it used to be, so I'm trying to work my muscles a little bit more. You may not want that, may not need that. You might just want to feel a lot more relaxed in what we're doing. So please choose, right? But right now, my fingers are pressing down into the earth. My palm is lifting up. I'm going to take 2 more breaths here. And exhale, whoo, let that arm come down and bring it in. Well, leave that one out. Bring the left one back towards your knee and extend out. Forehead comes to the ground. Oh, yes. And now we're going to do a little bit of flowing. So we're going to be here for just a moment. This is an exhale. Take it in your peaceful warrior. And then we're going to inhale, come up and come into our hanging cobra. So my hips come forward, my toes go up, my chest lifts, and I feel that opening in my hip flexors there. And then I'm going to take myself back, rock back, and my heels come close to my back of my thighs, and that's where I exhale. And then I inhale, bring myself forward. And come on back. So now we're more into a vinyasa flow, really focused on our breath, matching it to movement, and making sure that our breaths are, if not even, then the exhale is a little bit longer. Okay, so that we can keep that parasympathetic nervous system happy, even when we're active. And let's do 2 more, please. Good. And now we're going to move into a true balasana. So please take your legs together, sit back on your heels if that's available to you. If not, block it or put a blanket there. Take and curl your chin into your chest. Take more like your hairline to the mat now. Your hands go behind you, palms up, fingers drawing back, okay? And we're in this little tight yoga ball here. Balasana, child's pose. It's more like a fetal to me, just because we're so close and connected. So stay here, keep breathing, and feel your belly. Feel your belly coming on your breath in and out onto your thighs there. And feel how much you feel into yourself at this point. Feel how your neck feels. Feel how your shoulders feel. This, I don't want you to have any type of contraction here. Really let it go. Your shoulders will just roll forward. And here we're activating our organs of our abdominal cavity.
because they're getting a squeeze here. And they need that. They need to be activated, and they need us to pay attention to not just what goes in, but how we move our body after the food enters into our system. So we sit and just let it kind of hang out there, and it has its own peristaltic method of movement, but what can we do to activate that movement more? So here we are, helping to activate it. And then we're going to go ahead now. I'm going to ask you to start squeezing your legs together if you want to activate this a little bit more. Just squeezing them into one another, not putting any pressure into your head upon the blanket or mat. Just squeezing the legs together. Okay, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Feel that squeeze. Exhale, release. Whew. Feel the difference there. And now, keeping your chin tucked, we're going to round up vertebrae by vertebrae, coming up. Chin will be the last thing to rise up here. And you found yourself in hero's pose. From child's pose to hero's pose. And again, with hero's pose, if it's a lot for you to sit back like this, then please take one of these blocks and place it underneath, and it'll just help you with your knees. Okay, I'm going to sit on a block here, and if this is uncomfortable totally for you with blankets and blocks, then sit where it's comfortable for you, because now we're going to work on opening up the side bodies a little bit more. I'm doing a little bit of twisting as we continue to move up from the ground up. Okay, my glasses on so I can see you guys a little bit better. All right, so let's go ahead to begin with. Take our hands, interlace behind us, and take the hands downward, squeezing the shoulders together, okay? Popping open that heart. Lately, I've also been finding myself really starting to curl forward, all right? And some pictures I've seen, I'm kind of curling forward. So I'm really, really working to keep that chest open, to pull down my shoulders, to keep my spine straight. So it's good for us to always be assessing, right? Not judging in a negative way, like, oh man, that looks really bad, but more like, okay, what do I need to change? What do I need to do if I don't want to start curling in like that? All right. And then just be consciously moving through life and with those changes in mind, if any of you have anything like that. And so now press your hands together, press your legs together. Let's get yan here. Let's squeeze everything in. It looks like we're doing nothing, but we are doing something. We're squeezing those legs together. We are keeping our chest open. We're squeezing our palms together as well. They're facing downward. We haven't lifted them up. We're just squeezing everything together and breathing. And whew, releasing, coming out of that. And let's open up our knees just a little bit more here. So we're in more of a wide-legged hero's pose. My hand is going to come down, right hand, whichever one you want to bring, the other one up, lifting towards the ceiling. And let's come on over, keeping ourselves in a nice alignment here from fingertips all the way down through our hip, right? And let's take it and just shoot those fingers out a little bit more. Press downward with the other hand in the ground, activating here, okay? I'm going to spread my hand out a little bit farther so I can activate it into the ground with a straight arm. Okay, so we're going to stay here, 2 more breaths. Now we're going to take it in more of a yin. I'm going to bend into that lower elbow. I'm going to bend my top elbow. And I'm still feeling that stretch. Notice that? And maybe coming down a little bit lower. Continuing to breathe. And then lifting up through what I had all the way. And exhale, hand comes down. Good. And now this hand stays grounded. The other hand lifts up, fingers up high.
And then let me take myself over so that both arms are straight, both arms are active. And I'm feeling that all the way through that side body. And it feels really, really good to me to open up in that way, pressing into the earth with my fingers, letting the other hand reach, reach, reach. And then taking it in to more relaxed. Still feeling an opening in my side. Maybe even coming down a little bit more. Squeezing into the opposite side. One side opens, one side squeezes. Finding breath. Taking my arm back up, other one straight. Find that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, let's take it down. Both arms lift, inhale. And let's take right under left. Coming into eagle arms, lift up high, inhale. Exhale, taking our right elbow towards our right knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbow to left knee or thigh. Inhale up. One more time each side. So I'm getting a little twist here. Rising up and taking it over to the other side. Feeling this in my core, lifting up high. Releasing my arms, let them fly up. Inhale. Exhale, left under right. This time, finding whatever that is. And it might be here for you, okay? That's great too. You'll be doing the same thing, okay? Here we are, lifting up. And let's take it to the left. Inhale, lift. Exhale it to the right. One more time each side. Use your breath. Rising up. Exhale, release, arms release, take them up, interlace, push away. And let's just take some circles with our torso and with our arms stretched up. Let's feel that in our oblique area here. And let's go around the other direction. And rising up, push away. Exhale, take it down. Good. Let's go ahead and come into hands and knees now. Tabletop position. And let's extend our legs. We've had them bent quite a bit. I'm going to extend my left leg back and I'm going to rock here. Rocking back and forth, getting some opening in the back side of my leg there. And I'm going to bring that leg in, place my knee down, take the other one out, and go ahead and do some rocking there. And I'm going to bring that knee back in, take the left one out again, and bend into it, lift it up, take it back in a straight leg, place it down, bend into it, open up, take it back as a straight leg, place it down. Two more times, in, out, back, and down. In, out, back, and down. I think that was two more times. Let's do one more. In, out, take it back, and down. And now I'm bringing that knee in, and I'm going to let the other leg lengthen, well, bend it, bring it up, bend, back, and down. Bend it in, take it out, back, and down. Add my breath. And two more. Yeah, let's go ahead. From here, we're going to take our hands forward a little bit, and we're going to come into down dog. That should feel good on the back of both legs, lengthening back, Let's let them open. Yeah, all the energy now coming from our palms, rooted into the ground, up through our arms and into our back. And all that energy coming up from our legs, maybe just the balls of the feet that are down. We don't have the opening yet for the heels to be there. That is all right. That's our bodies just saying, I've got some muscles that I'm still working on, finding some stretching there. And it just really depends on body type as well. My heels are not coming to the ground today. Sometimes they do. Also depends on how far away your arms and hands are from your feet. So just taking a couple breaths here, let's go ahead and pedal. And pedal in the knees. And then get a little crazier with your pedaling and pedal it into your hips. And keep on bringing it that way, all the way up through your spine, into your shoulders. And then feel your head going back and forth as well. And then let's take ourselves, exhale down to our knees. Lift up, inhale, cow. Exhale, curl, tuck, round into cat and lift ourselves back into down dog. So the cat and the dog meet. And then lifting high into the balls of your feet, come down onto your knees. Inhale, cow. Begin your cat, come on in. As soon as you reach chin to chest, lift your knees and lengthen your legs. You guys got this. High the balls of your feet to the knees. Here we go, cat. Here we go, cat. There we go, dog and cat. Let's do that 2 more times. Follow your breath. Slow, slow, slow. Finding ourselves, meeting in down dog. Let's keep weight on our right foot, let our left foot come up. Nice and high. Toes in, heel out. Go ahead and take some ankle rotations there, please. And then reversing. And then bend the knee. Take it out. Send it back. And down. Just like you did earlier. Bring it up. Bend it out. Back. And down. 2 more. Bend. Out. Back. And down. Bending. Out. Back. And down. And walk out your feet a bit here. Get it into the hips. And before we do the next side, come on down to your knees. And let's take our hands upward, elbows towards your knees. And just relaxing here with palms up. And we're looking down at our palms and our forearms. And then I'm just going to tuck in here. So just to give myself a little ease from having my hands on the weight of my hands so much. Get a little stretch in my neck here. And then as I look up, I'm going to take my right hand to my left fingers, and I'm just going to pull them back. Get a stretch in that direction, and then I'm going to pull them forward, getting a stretch in that direction. And I'm going to switch, opening up and closing the other hand, and then taking some wrist rotations as I'm still connected to the ground here, and reversing wrist rotations. And taking my fingers, opening, closing from fists. And then taking my hands down. back onto the ground, and lifting up, down dog. And then taking myself in, right knee bends in, comes out like fire hydrant, pushing back, and foot comes down. Bending in, lift it out, take it back and down. Bend, lift, back and down. One more time. Bend, lift, back, and leave it up. Find yourself in this three-legged, toes in, heels out, and let's take that ankle and rotate it. We did the same thing on both sides. We just reversed the order a bit there. And reversing. Good. And let's go ahead and lower that right leg down. And walking out one more time, feet. And then I'm going to take my left foot up and I'm going to bring it in between my hands. I'm going to take my right knee to the ground. Okay, so we're in a runner's lunge here, and we're making sure we're lined up, knee and ankle, and in the back as well. You can take your foot flat, or you can take it onto the ball of your foot. We're going to lift ourselves up here. Okay, so any of you that would rather stay uplifted without your knee on the ground, you're welcome to amplify in that way. And that would just take more of a balance challenge there. So from here, first let's find our hands on our hips. Make sure that our hips are facing forward, chest is forward. Maybe let's do a little bit of shoulder rotations here. If you want, you can release your hands and those shoulders will rotate a lot more freely. Let's take ourselves around, other way. Good. And then arms lift up, inhale, lengthen that whole side body, looking forward here. So this is like we would be possibly in a warrior one, but we're on our knee. And so we'll also do this standing. But let's try it here first. Hands lift up high, inhale. Looking up if that feels right for you. Now I'm going to take my right hand down. I'm going to slide it down my right back of my right thigh. Let my left arm come back and offer my heart. And breathe. I'm going to let my body come up, my right arm come up as well. Fingers reach towards the sky. Left hand comes down. I reach back with it, or I come around my waist, or come down that right leg. Choose your medicine there. Right hand comes up, fingers open, looking if that feels right. Breathing, because that is right. And lifting body up. Left hand joins up there with the right one. I'm going to come back as we did earlier, and I'm going to interlace my fingers, pushing down. Let my shoulders squeeze and let me look up. And breathe. Bringing myself upright. I'm going to take myself into a release of ego, into a humble warrior. So I'm taking shoulders and I'm taking them to an angle here. I'm holding it at my navel point, coming down. Hands can stay right here, or you can take them up and maybe take them over. Really find what is your shoulders are saying it's right for you. Your hands can also just unlace and come to your hip area. Taking head down. Keep your head there. Let your hands come back down. Separate them. Take your hands to the ground, one right under your gaze, the other one to the inside of your left foot. And then press into your hands so that you rise up, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and let my left knee open and come onto the outside of my left foot. And just feel how that is affecting your your hip right there. You can stay right where you are, or you can take a walk to the right. And you can drop your head if you'd like. Feeling that in that hip, like we would if we were doing a pigeon pose. We've just integrated this low lunge into a bit of a warrior one, and now into kind of a pigeon effect. I love about yoga and so many other things you can just pick and choose and add on and be creative with it. I'm gonna walk my hands back, place my foot flat on the ground again, and my left hand comes to the outside of my left foot. My hands are going to interlace again behind me, or maybe you had your hands at your hips. One more time, I'm going to offer my ego. And breathe. And slowly bring myself up. Take my shoulders forward, hips forward, releasing hands, arms rise up, inhale. Let's exhale into cactus, offer heart. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Rising up. Exhale, hands come down. Take your knee that's on the ground, off the ground, come back into that high runner's lunge, and then bring your left foot back to meet the right. Find yourself in down dog, and down dog is supposed to be restful. And what you want to do in your down dog to just make sure your shoulders are going to stay protected is you have your hands on your mat, but you want to feel like you're trying to pull that mat apart so that your hands are kind of pulling outward, and that's going to bring your shoulders into a healthier alignment, okay? Your legs may be very bent, and that's all right as well. You're working at your level of flexibility, okay? And they're all really different there. And now we're going to let our left foot take ground, right lifts up, toes in, heel out, so that you can really feel that your hips are trying to line up. Bend into that right knee and place it in between your hands. And place your left knee on the ground, okay? So looking again at my alignment, my front alignment, my back alignment, deciding how I want to have that back foot to stay most balanced, and switch that out if that feels better. Rising up with hands on my hips to begin with, and just checking that knee is not starting to go in or falling out, but really staying strong and maintaining that forward equal motion of the knee. Not really motion, but direction. And then go ahead and let your hands come down. Rise up with your hands, fingers lifting up, totally open there, feeling that more activation in my arms by opening up the fingers really, really wide here, lifting side bodies, pulling down on shoulders. So as my arms lift up, and now I'm going to take that left arm down and back along my back leg. And my other arm comes up. And I breathe. And lifting body up right first. Left hand comes up. Both hands, all fingers reaching towards the heavens there. And now left arm stays up, right comes down and just finds itself behind me or around me or down that opposite leg, and open up your chest. Find your balance here. Find your heart really open. And then lifting myself up, right arm joins up with the left, fingers emancipate themselves upward. Really released here. And now my hands come down and back. I clasp behind me. I'm going to push down. I'm going to come into this Exalted Warrior where both of my arms are pulling back, shoulders squeeze, front knee stays in that forward middle direction there. Breathing. Lifting up slowly here. Find myself at an angle so that I can come down. And maybe you just come down a quarter, or you have a block or two, and that's where your head comes to. But find where it is for you. See if you want to leave your arms just where they are, or if you want to lift them up. And breathing in and out here. That front knee is going to want to wander. Let it stay solid with control of your muscles in that leg. Solidly planted. Keep breathing. Now let your hands drift back down towards your hips, releasing from the bind. Head is still low. One hand comes right underneath your gaze. The other hand comes to the inside of your right foot. And then I'm going to lift myself up, push my hands into the ground, let my knee open and come to the outside of my right foot. So you feel that already opening in your hip. You can stay just here if you want. You can come back and forth like a little lizard. Okay. So again, this is kind of like pigeon, kind of like lizard, kind of like low lunge. All right, and if you want, stay here or walking yourself out to the left and feel that even more. If you wanted to, do it. If not, don't do it, okay? Be your guide. Be your own guardian angel, okay? And I'm just breathing into whatever sensation I created here. Just remember, my choice, right? My choice could be right now to lay down into corpse pose, Savasana here. And that's your choice. Please follow your bliss. Couple more breaths here if you're here. And then walking my hands back. One hand underneath me, underneath my left shoulder, the other hand to the outside of my right foot there. And then I'm going to come on off my knee and take that right foot back to meet the left. Find myself in this down dog. Bring myself forward into plank. You can take that to your knees if you like, okay? Back, exhale. And let's do a few of those. Maybe taking it to the knees and then lifting up, because if you do that, you're also using your core. Try it. Those of us that are so strong, we're always doing this. Take it to your knees slowly. Take them up slowly. Feel what that does for the core, okay? So back and forth here. The slower you go, the more you're going to feel that if you're coming into the bend. If not, you're rocking back and forth. You're choosing what you want to do. You've already decided maybe to take a peaceful warrior or to come into Shavasana. And bring myself back. Staying here now in down dog. Now I'm going to walk my feet forward, wide as the mat is. Hands come back. And maybe this is a really good place for you that have really tight hamstrings to have those blocks, okay? So have the blocks if you like. I started this prenatal yoga certification program, so we use a lot of blocks for the mamas. We have our legs a lot wider too, but this is also really good for people that have really tight hamstrings. I don't want you guys just hanging there, okay? So find what works for you. I've just had a pretty flexible body, more flexible than strong, most of my life, plus my anatomy just helps that too. So wherever you are, be who you are. and use what you need to be who you are, okay? Remember, there's a slight bend always in our knee, and we use those muscles around the knee tight so that we don't lock it. We keep it in a nice little bend, and we never lock into the knees. Let your head hangle and dangle a little bit here. Let it go around, do what it wants to do. And then bend into the knees and take your hands into prayer position. We're going to come into a really high malasana here. We've done a lot already of really low bending into the knees. So let's just take a really high malasana, kind of a low squat, high malasana here, hands in heart center. I'm going to release my arms, come out. I'm going to come on up, and my legs are straight and they are wide, and my hands are in and out into airplane mode here. I'm going to turn my right toes outward. I'm going to let my left foot stay toes towards you. I'm going to come in and out of triangle pose here a bit. So I'm going to pull over, take my hand down to below my knee, not on my knee, never pressing there. Or I love the block here, and take my other arm up. Right? And you don't have to have the block. You can take your hand to your own anatomy to support yourself. But the block really helps with alignment, because here I can say, all right, that upper hip, I need to pull it back a little bit more. I need to take a little more weight into the outside part of that left foot. But if I'm worried about my balance or just kind of hanging there, I might have a less of an opportunity to really focus on those finer points. So I like using the block just to expand on what I've been doing over and over for so long. And now I'm going to come up, and I'm going to take my right toes in, my left toes out. Okay, so you've just done the opposite. If you were using the block, take it with you. Taking those toes facing one side, the other toes are facing you. Can't see that because that block's there. And arms out. And pulling myself over. Triangle pose is with straight legs. Pyramid pose is with straight legs. When we are doing our warrior 1 and warrior 2, those are with bent legs. And pulling back here. When we're doing extended side angle, that's with bent legs. I know it doesn't really matter, I guess, right? Yeah, these names don't really matter. But it's kind of fun. When you say, oh, okay, extended side angle, I know what that is. Warrior 2, I know what that is. And then it allows you to start to practice those things for yourself, right? So again, really steady sturdiness wherever I have my hand, whether it's on my anatomy, a leg, maybe it's reached the floor, or it's on a block at any height. And again, I've got a little slight bend in that knee. You can't really see it, but it is, so that I'm not hyperextending, okay? And then I'm going to lift up, let my toes come in, both sides. So all toes are forward now. I'm going to take my body over in one direction, just like I did before, but I'm not lowering down. Bring myself up, take it over in the other direction. This is what we did to begin or initiate our triangle pose. Pull myself over, bring myself up, take myself over, and bring myself up. One more round. Use breath. Good. Taking my hands down. I'm going to go ahead now and heel toe my feet in and find myself in little actions happening at my house right now. So sorry if there's anything going on. So my feet now are planted right below my hips, knees, ankles, everything's in alignment. This square of my body is aligned. And take your hands into Anjali Mudra. And let's just take some up and downs here. If it's a little hard to do that in rising mountain with hands at Anjali Mudra, then just take them to your sides. Or you might want to move your arms as you lift and lower. Inhale and let go. A few more times. Good. And then let's shake out ourselves a bit. We've done a lot of repetitive stuff. We've done a lot that we might have been a little bit rigid. So now let's just go ahead and shake it out just a bit. Okay. And let's go and lift our knees. And just bring them from the ground and open up. Externally rotating those hips. Happy feet. And now let's take weight onto one foot. This is where I said maybe if you want that chair for a little bit of balance, we're going to take and internally rotate one leg. Okay, so again, balance wall or a chair. Take that leg up, internally rotate, and bring it back. So we're going from abduction to adduction, and we're taking ourselves down. 2 more times. Lift, inside. We've done this a few times today, right? We did it on our knee. We did it when we were in three-legged dog. Good. And let's take ourselves back. And again, because a lot of times we're spending more time in that external rotation than we are in that internal rotation. So let's do that again. Now my other leg is going to take the weight, hand on chair if needed. Go ahead and lift. Put my leg out and bring it in. Take it down. Out and in. And you're going to feel it in here as well. Okay. 2 more times. And then let's just come in to ourselves here. Let's take our hands behind us. I'm going to do a few more heart openings, and then we'll find ourselves back on the ground and more time together. So I'm going to take my hands, squeeze them, squeeze shoulders together, squeeze and open up my heart. I'm going to bring myself forward. Exhale, feel it in the back. Inhale up, and exhale, pull my hands down, lift my heart up. Inhale, lift to neutral, straight spine all the time here, straight spine, bowing down, lifting up, exalting, straight, down, bow halfway, lift, press down, and lift. And when I say press down, pressing down with our hands, but not our spine, okay? We want to stay lifted in the spine, and just that helps us to keep our chest open, and bring myself forward with a nice core that is staying nice and strong. And then releasing here. One more heart opening. Let's do standing Uttanasana. Hands are open right here at my hips. I'm going to take my feet about max distance. I'm going to press down into my hands, into my hips. Pull my shoulders together, open up my heart, let my hips come forward and my head go up and my heart lift up and pass through the ceiling. And breathe here. Feel this opening in your hip flexors as well. And lifting up. Exhale, hands come down. And let's find ourselves in a seated position here. And maybe in class, just a couple minutes for really, we've had a lot of activity. We had a visitor come in about 4 a.m, and then my daughter just came in, and I just left from there. So a lot's going on. We're gonna go out for breakfast. So, and just a couple minutes early. So go ahead and take yourself seated in your Sukhasana. Blocks are really nice here, okay, to just uphold them, but you can also just let gravity go as well. So let's go ahead and take our hands to our heart center. One time, I'm going to just do another example of the yin and the yang. So I want you to press your fingers together, thumb, all of them, and go isometric on me here. Isometric, pushing. Feeling that all the way up into your arms, into your shoulders. Nobody knows you're doing it but you. Feeling that in your core. Knowing now you don't have to have weights to improve your strength. You can do it with some object that is not moving. And right now I'm trying to keep one hand from not moving against the pressure of the other. And Let yourself go from that and keep your hands here at Anjali Mudra in our heart chakra area, letting yourself feel the reverberation of your practice. Letting yourself sense the gratitude for coming together, finding the time in your day. Breathing. And I honor this place in you where the universe dwells. I honor the place in you where there is love and light and peace and joy. For when you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one, we are connected. We have formed a community. People are sharing roots and continue to grow with one another. Namaste.